Clara was at the peak of her career. At just 45 years old, she was a renowned architect, known for her ability to transform simple structures into masterpieces of art and functionality. Her life was a series of plans and projects, endless meetings, and an always full calendar. The pressure and stress were her constant companions, but she managed everything with enviable grace, always maintaining a calm smile and a determined look. One afternoon, while reviewing the plans for a new project, Clara felt a sharp pain in her abdomen. She didn't pay much attention at first, attributing it to accumulated fatigue and lack of sleep. However, when the pain became recurrent and more intense, she decided to see a doctor, thinking it might be simple gastritis or something similar. The tests and studies were conducted quickly, and Clara, accustomed to precision and details, noticed the growing concern on the doctors' faces. After what felt like an eternity, the moment of truth arrived. Sitting in the cold and sterile oncologist's office, Clara heard the words that would change her life forever: terminal cancer. The news dropped like a bomb, destroying in an instant all the certainties she had built with so much effort. Her mind clouded as the doctor continued talking about palliative treatments and limited life expectancy. Clara felt as if she were in a dream from which she could not wake up. The words terminal and incurable echoed in her head, each like a hammer blow, driving her further from reality. She left the office without quite remembering how. The city continued with its usual bustle, oblivious to the tragedy that had just occurred inside her. Clara walked aimlessly, the echo of the medical sentence reverberating with each step. In her mind, images of her husband Andres and her daughter Valeria mixed with memories of her career, achievements, and dreams yet to be fulfilled. Anguish and fear began to settle over her, a feeling of helplessness and desolation she had never experienced. That night, in the solitude of her office, Clara let all the barriers fall. The tears, held back for hours, burst forth with force. She felt small, vulnerable, scared. She had spent her entire life controlling every detail, every project, and now she faced something completely beyond her control. The uncertainty of the future terrified her, but even more so the idea of not being there to see Valeria grow up, to share moments with Andres, to continue creating and leaving her mark on the world. With her face soaked in tears, Clara looked at the plans on her desk. They were a symbol of her effort and dedication, her dreams and passion. But now, they seemed to lose all meaning in the face of the relentless reality of her diagnosis. Clara knew that her life was about to change drastically, and that the upcoming fight would be the hardest of all. But deep down, she also knew she wasn't ready to give up, because, although time was limited, she still had much to live for, much to love, and above all, much to fight for. The news of the diagnosis spread like wildfire through the family.
Andres, haar robust aan.
Strong-willed husband crumbled upon hearing Clara's words. He had seen his wife face monumental challenges in her career, but this battle was of an entirely different magnitude. He sat next to her, holding her hand tightly, promising with tear-filled eyes that he wouldn't leave her alone on this journey. Valeria, her 17-year-old daughter, was a lively and energetic teenager whose world revolved around her friends, studies, and youthful dreams. The news hit her with devastating force. Her mother had always been her heroine, a figure of strength and stability. Valeria cried silently in her room, hugging tightly the teddy bear Clara had given her as a child, feeling her safe and known world crumble. The first days after the diagnosis were a whirlwind of emotions and decisions. Clara, though devastated, found comfort in the constant presence of Andres and Valeria. Her house, always a haven of peace and love, became a center of planning and support. Doctor visits, discussions about treatments, and necessary adjustments to her lifestyle became the new routine. Andres took on an active role, accompanying Clara to every appointment, taking detailed notes and asking incisive questions. His love for her was evident in every gesture, every word of encouragement. He became her rock, a pillar of support on whom Clara could rely implicitly. Valeria, for her part, tried to balance her school life with the desire to always be close to her mother. She began to help more at home, cooking and cleaning, wanting to ease any burden that might fall on Clara's shoulders. Despite the pain and sadness, those first days were also filled with moments of tenderness and connection. Andres and Valeria united to surround Clara with love and hope. They promised each other to face this test together as a family. The nights were filled with long conversations in the living room, shared memories and plans for the future, trying to keep the flame of hope alive. Clara, though weakened by the news and the start of treatments, felt a deep gratitude for the unconditional love and support of her family. Every gesture of affection, every smile, and every word of encouragement gave her the strength to keep going. There were moments of darkness, of deep fear, but in those moments, the presence of Andres and Valeria was like a beacon guiding her through the storm. The disease was a constant shadow, but Clara clung to Andres and Valeria's promise not to leave her alone. She found in them the motivation to keep fighting, not to give up. Despite everything, Clara tried to maintain her routine as normal as possible, working on minor projects from home and keeping her mind occupied. Andres and Valeria became her accomplices, ensuring that each day had at least one moment of joy and laughter. Those initial days, though difficult, were also a powerful reminder of the love that united the family. Clara understood that, no matter what the future held, she would not face this battle alone. Andres and Valeria's promise was her anchor, her reason to move forward with courage and determination. And so, with her heart full of love and hope, Clara prepared to face the challenges ahead, trusting in the strength of her family and the certainty that together they could overcome any obstacle. As time passed, Clara's illness began to show its cruelest face. The treatments, initially promising, started to take a toll on her body and spirit. The good days became less frequent, and hospital visits increased. Clara, once a figure of energy and vitality, now appeared fragile and exhausted, her eyes reflecting pain and internal struggle. Andres, who had initially been a constant support, began to show signs of wear. His job, which he had set aside in an attempt to always be present, started demanding his attention. Bills piled up, and the economic pressure added to the emotional strain. Andres tried to maintain a facade of strength, but Clara could see the cracks. Their conversations grew shorter and more tense, and the promises of eternal love began to seem hollow and distant. Valeria, on the other hand, struggled with her own internal conflict. School, responsibilities, and the desire to live her adolescence clashed with the reality of her mother's illness. Outings with friends and extracurricular activities became her refuge, an escape from the constant shadow of illness that lurked in her home. The long hours she once spent by Clara's side dwindled to sporadic visits, and their conversations were limited to the superficial. Clara began to feel a crushing loneliness. The nights became endless, filled with physical pain, and an emotional void no treatment could alleviate. Sitting in the darkness of her room, she listened to the sounds of a house that continued to function, but felt she was no longer a part of it. The promise of unconditional support had faded, replaced by a cold and distant silence. Days passed, and the routine grew heavier. Andres and Valeria seemed absorbed in their own lives, leaving Clara alone in her struggle. The moments they sat together were scarce and charged with palpable discomfort. Clara, who had always been the center of her family, now felt like an intruder in her own home. She tried to understand, justifying Andres and Valeria's absence with their need to escape the pain, but it only deepened her own sadness. Andres's visits to the hospital became less frequent. There was always an excuse: work, an important meeting, fatigue. Clara understood the pressure he was under, but couldn't help feeling abandoned. The moments Valeria appeared were a brief relief, but the disconnection was evident. The laughter and complicity they once shared were replaced by evasive glances and forced conversations. In her loneliness, Clara clung to the memories of happy days, to the promises they once made. But reality was relentless, and each day she felt more alone and helpless. The fight against cancer was no longer just against the disease, but also against isolation and despair. Clara, who had found strength in her family's love, now had to seek within herself a reason to keep fighting. Clara's loneliness was not only physical but also emotional. The distance from Andres and Valeria was a constant pain, a wound that would not stop bleeding. But in the midst of that darkness, Clara clung to a small spark of hope. She knew that, somehow, she had to find the strength to go on, even if it was alone. Because, although her family's love had faded, her own remained strong, a flame that refused to go out. The loneliness Clara found herself in seemed like a bottomless pit, but in the midst of that darkness, an unexpected light emerged. Laura, her cousin and childhood friend, came into her life at the most critical moment. Laura had always been a free spirit, living her life with passion and commitment, and upon hearing about Clara's situation, she dropped everything to be by her side. Laura moved into Clara's house, bringing with her renewed energy and unwavering determination. From the first day, she became Clara's primary caregiver, but also her confidant and emotional support. Laura knew that her cousin needed more than physical care. She needed someone to listen to her, to understand her, and to remind her that she was not alone. Mornings began to fill with deep and meaningful conversations. Laura patiently listened to Clara, allowing her to vent and express her deepest fears. They talked about their shared memories, the summers at their grandparents' house, childhood pranks, and the dreams they had. These moments of intimacy gave Clara a break from the constant anguish the illness brought. Laura also encouraged Clara not to abandon her passions. She knew that architecture was more than a career for Clara, it was her life. Together, they reviewed old projects, talked about new ideas, and sometimes even drew plans, if only for the simple pleasure of creating. These creative moments were a valve of escape, a reminder of Clara's identity beyond her illness. As days passed, the connection between the cousins deepened. Laura, with her cheerful and optimistic nature, managed to bring smiles to Clara on the darkest days. She reminded her that, despite everything, there was beauty in life and reasons to keep fighting. Clara began to feel renewed strength, a spark of hope she thought lost. Laura also took Clara to fulfill some of her pending dreams. One day, she took her to the beach, a place Clara loved but hadn't visited in years. Sitting together on the sand, watching the ocean, Clara felt a peace she hadn't experienced in a long time. Laura encouraged her to close her eyes, to feel the wind on her face, and to let herself be carried away by the sound of the waves. At that moment, Clara understood that there were still things to live for, experiences to enjoy, even if time was limited. The relationship with Andres and Valeria remained tense and distant, but Laura helped Clara manage those emotions. She reminded her that she couldn't control others' actions, but she could decide how to react to them. This advice was crucial for Clara, who began to find emotional balance, letting go of resentment and focusing on what truly mattered, her own peace and well-being. With Laura's unwavering support, Clara began to plan her future more consciously. She decided it was time to put her affairs in order to ensure her wishes were respected. Laura accompanied her every step of the way, supporting her without judgment, providing the assurance that she wasn't alone in this process. In Laura, Clara found not only a caregiver but a pillar of strength, someone who held her up when the world seemed to be falling apart, who helped her face her fears and find joy in small moments. Thanks to Laura, Clara rediscovered her own strength, and although the battle remained hard, she no longer faced it with the same loneliness and despair. Laura, with her love and dedication, transformed Clara's days, filling them with meaning and reminding her that even in the midst of pain and uncertainty, life could be beautiful. Laura's presence was an unexpected gift, a blessing in the darkest moments, and Clara, with renewed hope, prepared to continue facing her struggle, knowing she was not alone. With Laura's support, Clara began to make important decisions about her future and legacy. One afternoon, while chatting in the garden, Clara revealed her desire to sell her business. The idea was not easy to accept. Her architecture firm had been her passion and life for decades. But Clara knew that the time she had left was valuable, and she wanted to use the resources to fulfill her final wishes and leave everything in order for her family. Laura supported Clara's decision without hesitation. Together they began the process, contacting potential buyers and evaluating offers. The sale of the company quickly attracted attention in the market. It was a prestigious firm, and many were interested in acquiring it. Clara was personally involved in every detail of the sale, wanting to ensure her legacy would continue with the same quality and vision she had built. When Andres and Valeria learned of the sale, their attitude changed drastically. Andres, who had been distant and absent, showed a sudden interest in the financial details. He began attending meetings with potential buyers, asking questions about the terms and conditions of the sale. Clara observed this change with a mix of relief and suspicion. Although she appreciated the help, she couldn't help but wonder if Andres's interest was motivated by concern for her or by economic implications. Valeria, on the other hand, started spending more time at home, showing a more attentive attitude towards her mother. She began to accompany Clara and Laura to meetings, pretending a genuine interest in the process. Clara wanted to believe that her daughter was trying to reconnect, but part of her couldn't ignore the possibility that Valeria's interest was also tied to money. The sale of the company was a hard and emotionally exhausting process. Clara said goodbye to every corner of the office that had been her second home. She packed her things, leaving behind a place full of memories and achievements. However, at every step, Laura was there, providing the necessary support to move forward. The presence of Andres and Valeria was constant, but Clara couldn't shake the feeling that their motivations were not entirely sincere. Finally, the sale was completed. Clara ensured that the agreement included a clause guaranteeing the continuity of her vision and philosophy in the company. The money from the sale was transferred to a special account, and Clara began to plan how to use those resources to fulfill her final wishes. She wanted to travel to some places she had always dreamed of, leave legacies for causes she cared about, and ensure that Laura received a fair share for all her support and dedication. Andres and Valeria began to show an increasingly marked interest in Clara's finances. They frequently asked about the money, investments, and future plans. Clara, who had always been meticulous and careful with her affairs, started to feel uncomfortable with their questions. She noticed an eagerness in their eyes that deeply unsettled her. One day, Clara decided to talk to Laura about her suspicions. Sitting on the terrace, Clara expressed her doubts and fears. Laura, with her usual wisdom and serenity, advised her to follow her instincts. She reminded her that it was important to protect her legacy and wishes, even if it meant making difficult decisions regarding Andres and Valeria. Clara knew she had to act cautiously. The sale of the company had given her the freedom to plan her future and legacy, but it had also revealed dark aspects of the people closest to her. With the strength given by Laura's unconditional support, Clara prepared to face this new stage. Determined to fulfill her dreams and protect what she had built, Clara began to take steps to ensure her legacy was honored, without being manipulated by the selfish motivations starting to surround her. With the sale of the company concluded, Clara hoped the relationship with Andres and Valeria would become more genuine. However, their behaviors confirmed the suspicions she had started to have. Andres, who had seemed absent before, now appeared excessively involved in all financial decisions. Valeria, on the other hand, had abandoned her activities and studies to spend more time at home, but Clara could see the superficiality in her actions. One afternoon, Clara sat with Andres to discuss the distribution of the money. Andres showed interest and concern, suggesting various investments and ways to secure the family's financial future. Clara listened attentively, but something in Andres's tone made her distrustful. Every proposal seemed more focused on securing his own well-being than on fulfilling Clara's wishes. The relationship with Valeria also became complicated. Clara tried to regain the lost bond, but each attempt was met with interest that quickly faded when the conversation strayed from money. Valeria constantly talked about plans that could be realized with the sales resources, mentioning studies abroad, trips, and luxury purchases. Clara, hurt by the lack of sincerity, began to see her daughter in a new light. Laura, always perceptive, noticed the change in the atmosphere and decided to talk to Clara. Sitting in the garden, under the soft light of the sunset, Clara opened her heart. She confessed her fears and suspicions about Andres and Valeria's true motivations. Laura, with her usual calm, urged her to take steps to protect her wishes and legacy. Strengthened by Laura's support, Clara decided to act. She started working on a plan to ensure her final wishes would be fulfilled, regardless of Andres and Valeria's intentions. She contacted her lawyer and began to redesign her will, setting clear conditions for the distribution of her assets. At the same time, Clara decided to confront Andres and Valeria directly. One night, during dinner, Clara openly expressed her concerns. Andres and Valeria, surprised, tried to justify their actions, but Clara held her ground. She explained that it wasn't just about the money, but about her desire for the family to remain united and genuine. She reminded them of the promises they made at the beginning of her illness, to be by her side and support her unconditionally. The conversation was tense and painful. Andres initially showed offense, but Clara could see the guilt in his eyes. Valeria, for her part, broke into tears, claiming she only wanted the best for her mother. Clara, though moved by her daughter's tears, knew she had to remain firm. The following days were a whirlwind of emotions. Andres and Valeria, though distant, seemed to try to reconnect with Clara more sincerely. Clara, however, continued with her plans. She established specific funds for her wishes and legacies, ensuring a significant portion went to Laura in recognition of her unconditional love and dedication. Clara also began to fulfill some of her pending dreams. Laura accompanied her on a trip to Paris, a destination Clara had always wanted to visit. They strolled through cobblestone streets, admired the Eiffel Tower, and enjoyed the city's beauty. In those moments, Clara felt alive and at peace, far from the worries that had plagued her at home. Upon returning, Clara remained focused on her plan. As her health deteriorated, she ensured every detail was in order. Laura's presence continued to be her anchor, a constant reminder that true love knew no conditions or selfish interests. Final wishes would be respected. Clara found new strength to face her remaining days. Although the relationship with Andres and Valeria remained complicated, Clara had taken control of her legacy, ensuring her life and dreams were honored in the way she desired. Clara's health was rapidly deteriorating, each day a new struggle against pain and fatigue. Despite medical efforts and her iron will, her body was giving in. Clara, aware of her situation, decided to meticulously plan her family's future and the management of her estate. Andres and Valeria, though now more present, still generated mixed feelings in Clara. Their sudden efforts to show attentiveness did not erase the suspicions about their true intentions. Clara knew she had to protect her legacy and ensure her wishes were fulfilled no matter what happened. One afternoon, accompanied by Laura, Clara met with her lawyer. In his office, filled with documents and memories of her career, Clara made the toughest decisions of her life. She drafted a detailed will, leaving clear instructions on the distribution of her assets. Her estate was divided into specific parts, a considerable sum for Laura in recognition of her love and unconditional support, educational and travel funds for Valeria, but with conditions ensuring responsible use and a reasonable amount for Andres, ensuring the family would be cared for, without incentives for greed. Clara also decided to donate a significant portion of her resources to charitable organizations. She wanted her legacy to support not only her family but also contribute to causes she had always believed in. Education for underprivileged girls and environmental preservation were two of the main areas she selected. The following days were a whirlwind of preparations. Laura helped Clara organize her personal affairs, pack memories, and write farewell letters to Andres and Valeria. Clara wanted to leave them more than material possessions. She wished them to understand her feelings and the reasons behind her decisions. She wrote with tears in her eyes, recalling the good times and expressing her hopes for their future. Clara knew her time was limited, but she was determined to make the most of every moment. Laura took her to visit her hometown, a small village where she had spent her childhood. They strolled through memory-filled streets, visited the old family house, and sat in the park where they used to play as children. These moments of peace and nostalgia gave Clara the serenity she needed to face the end. The relationship with Andres and Valeria remained complicated. Andres, though trying to show affection, often fell silent, his thoughts lost in the uncertainty of a future without Clara. Valeria, on her part, oscillated between remorse and desperation. Clara saw the pain in her eyes and wished she could alleviate it, but knew she had to remain firm in her decisions. One night, Clara called Andres and Valeria to her room. Sitting on her bed, surrounded by the people she loved most, Clara spoke with a sincerity and calm that came from accepting her fate. She explained the provisions of her will, her reasons, and her hopes. She asked them to understand and respect her decisions, to remember the happy moments, and to find ways to support each other after her departure. Andres, with tears in his eyes, promised to take care of Valeria and honor Clara's decisions. Valeria, sobbing, approached her mother and hugged her tightly, promising to be worthy of the trust she had shown. It was a moment of pain and love, a preemptive goodbye that left the three with aching hearts but united by a final promise. In the days that followed, Clara felt more at peace. She knew she had done everything possible to ensure a fair and balanced future for her family. Laura, always by her side, remained her pillar, reminding her that true love was not measured in terms of money but in actions and sacrifices. Clara, though weakened, found peace in her final moments, the certainty that she had left everything in order, that her legacy would be respected, and that Laura's genuine love would endure, gave her the strength to face the inevitable with dignity. Surrounded by love and acceptance, Clara prepared for the end of her journey, knowing she had done everything possible to protect and care for those she loved. Clara's final days approached with an inexorable certainty, but she had reached an inner peace that made her face the inevitable with admirable serenity. Surrounded by Laura's unconditional love, Clara found in her last moments a tranquility she had sought throughout her struggle. Laura organized the house to ensure Clara was as comfortable as possible. Clara's room filled with natural light and fresh flowers, small things that brought her joy. Every detail was thought out to offer her an environment of calm and beauty. Clara spent her days in bed, often looking out the window, watching the leaves move and feeling the gentle breeze, finding solace in the simplicity of nature. Andres and Valeria remained close, though their visits were brief and often tense. The atmosphere at home had changed since the reading of the will. Andres, though still showing concern, had largely accepted Clara's decisions. Valeria, for her part, found herself in a state of reflection, trying to reconcile her own feelings of guilt and remorse. One afternoon, Clara asked Laura to help her go out to the garden. She wanted to feel the sun on her skin one more time, smell the flowers, and listen to the birds singing. With Laura's support, Clara sat on a bench, her body weak but her spirit stronger than ever. Laura sat beside her, holding her hand. They didn't need words. Their connection went beyond what could be expressed. In those moments of shared silence, Clara reflected on her life, the decisions she had made, and the people she had loved. She thanked Laura for being there, for being her rock and her comfort. Laura, with tears in her eyes, assured her she would always be present, carrying her legacy and love in every action. These were a whirlwind of emotions, but also of a profound connection with those who truly mattered. Valeria, finally understanding the magnitude of her mother's sacrifice, spent more time with Clara, sharing stories and memories, seeking redemption and forgiveness. Clara, though weakened, found strength to console her daughter, assuring her she would always love her and trusted her ability to move forward. Andres, in his reserved way, also found moments of reconciliation with Clara. Their conversations, though brief, were sincere. He promised to take care of Valeria and keep Clara's memory alive in their hearts. Clara knew that despite the mistakes and complications, Andres had loved in his own way, and that gave her some peace. One night, with Laura by her side, Clara felt her time was coming to an end. She looked at Laura, who returned a look full of love and understanding. Without words, Laura took Clara's hand, offering the comfort of her presence. In that moment, Clara felt a wave of peace and gratitude. She had fought a hard battle, but had found love and unconditional support in Laura. With a final sigh, Clara closed her eyes, feeling Laura's warm embrace and the echo of her own just and well-thought decisions. In her last moments, she found profound peace, knowing she had done everything possible to protect and care for those she loved. Laura, with silent tears, held Clara's hand until the end, promising in her heart to honor her memory and continue with the strength and love Clara had taught her. The house fell silent after Clara's departure, but her presence remained alive in every corner, in every memory, and in every act of love that Laura continued to perform in her name. In her last breath, Clara had left a legacy of strength, love, and hope, a legacy Laura committed to keeping alive. Clara's house, now silent and empty, still resonated with her spirit and the memories of a life full of love and struggle. Laura took time to process the loss of her cousin, her friend, and her battle companion. However, it wasn't long before she felt the need to honor Clara's legacy in a meaningful way. After the funeral, Laura took charge of fulfilling Clara's last wishes, ensuring every detail of the will was respected to the letter. Andres and Valeria, despite their moments of weakness and selfishness, seemed to finally understand the magnitude of Clara's sacrifice and planning. Both committed to honoring her memory and moving forward in the best possible way. Inspired by Clara's bravery and determination, Laura decided to take it a step further. She had promised her cousin to keep her legacy alive and found the perfect way to do so. With the resources Clara had left, Laura founded a charitable organization in her name dedicated to supporting cancer patients and their families. The foundation focused on providing emotional, financial, and medical support, ensuring no one had to face a similar battle alone. The process of establishing the foundation was an emotional journey for Laura. Every step, from choosing the name to the first board meeting, was imbued with memories of Clara. The organization was named Fundación Clara Esperanza, a name that reflected not only the founder's name, but also the hope and light Clara had brought to so many lives. Laura dedicated herself full-time to the foundation. She worked tirelessly to ensure the programs and services offered made a real difference. She organized fundraising events, collaborated with hospitals, and ensured patients and their families received the support they so desperately needed. In every success and every grateful face, Laura felt Clara's presence, her constant guide and inspiration. Andres, after Clara's death, found new purpose in helping with the foundation. He used his business experience to assist Laura in managing the financial and strategic aspects of the organization. Through his work, Andres found a way to redeem himself and honor Clara's memory, ensuring her legacy lived on and thrived. He worked tirelessly, motivated by the desire to honor his wife and make a real difference in people's lives. Valeria, though young, also found her path in the foundation. She decided to study psychology, inspired by her mother's experience and the desire to help others facing similar situations. Valeria became an active volunteer, offering emotional support to patients and their families, finding in her work a way to keep her connection with her mother alive. The Fundación Clara Esperanza grew and thrived, touching the lives of hundreds of people. Each success story, each recovered smile, was a testament to Clara's lasting impact. Laura, though she still felt the loss of her cousin, found solace and purpose in her work, knowing she was fulfilling a sacred promise. Days passed, but Clara's legacy remained alive in every action, in every gesture of love and support the foundation provided. Laura kept a photo of Clara in her office, a constant reminder of the brave and determined woman who had inspired all this. In moments of doubt or fatigue, she looked at that photo and found the strength to continue. Clara had left this world, but her spirit continued to guide Laura, Andres, and Valeria. The Fundación Clara Esperanza was not only a tribute to her life, but also a source of hope and support for many other lives. And so, Clara's legacy continued, transcending her own existence, and leaving an indelible mark on the hearts of those who knew her and those who, thanks to her vision, found hope and comfort in their darkest moments. Driven by the mission Clara had inspired, Laura dedicated herself to consolidating and
expanding the Fundación Clara Esperanza.
The organization became a beacon of hope, not only for those affected by cancer, but for anyone facing a personal struggle. Every day, Laura woke up with the purpose of honoring Clara's memory and making her legacy have a lasting impact. Laura decided to organize a major charity event to raise funds and raise awareness about the organization's mission. With the help of Andres and Valeria, they planned a gala in the city, inviting businessmen, celebrities, and influential people. The response was overwhelming, and the gala was a resounding success, raising significant funds that would allow the foundation to expand its programs and services. During the gala, Laura took the stage to speak. With a photo of Clara projected behind her, she shared the story of her cousin, her bravery, and the inspiration she had been for all of them. She talked about the challenges Clara had faced and how she had transformed her struggle into a legacy of hope and help for others. The audience, moved by her words, responded with a standing ovation, reaffirming Clara's impact and the Foundation's work. With the new funds, the Fundación Clara Esperanza inaugurated a support center in Clara's honor, a place where patients and their families could receive comprehensive care, from psychological counseling to alternative treatments and wellness programs. Laura ensured every detail of the center reflected Clara's essence, her love for life, her dedication to helping others, and her tireless fight for hope. Valeria, now a licensed psychologist, became a key figure in the support center. Her personal experience made her especially empathetic and effective in her work, helping countless families navigate the difficult paths of diagnosis and cancer treatment. Every day, Valeria found in her work a way to reconnect with her mother and follow her example of strength and compassion. Andres, for his part, used his business skills to manage the finances and operations of the center. He had found a way to redeem himself and contribute significantly to Clara's legacy, ensuring the foundation not only survived but thrived. He worked tirelessly, motivated by the desire to honor his wife and make a real difference in people's lives. Laura, Valeria, and Andres formed an unstoppable team, each bringing their own experience and passion to the project. The Fundación Clara Esperanza not only became a symbol of help and hope, but also a testament to the power of love and determination. As the foundation grew, Laura decided it was time to expand its reach even further. She began forming partnerships with other charitable organizations and hospitals, creating a support network that reached every corner of the country. Every new partnership, every new initiative, was a celebration of Clara's indomitable spirit and a step closer to realizing her dreams. In an emotional act of commemoration, Laura, Valeria, and Andres planted a tree in the support center's garden, dedicating it to Clara. It was a strong and sturdy oak, a symbol of the resilience and durability of her legacy. Under the branches of that tree, families found a place of reflection and hope, a reminder that they were not alone in their struggles. Years passed, but Clara's impact continued to grow.
De Fundación Clara Esperanza BKMA.
Respected and beloved institution, touching the lives of thousands of people and demonstrating that, even in the midst of pain and loss, purpose and comfort could be found. Laura, looking at the tree in the garden, felt Clara's presence by her side. She knew her cousin would be proud of what they had achieved, and that gave her the strength to keep going. With every step, with every life they touched, Clara's legacy grew stronger, a beacon of hope that illuminated even the darkest days. And so, the new beginning Laura had started in Clara's honor not only transformed her own life, but left an indelible mark on the world. In every recovered smile, in every healed heart, Clara lived, her spirit intertwined with every act of love and kindness the foundation promoted. And that, without a doubt, was the most beautiful and enduring legacy anyone could wish for. What an exciting journey we've just experienced together. But this is only the beginning. Click on the next video that appears on your screen and keep enjoying amazing content. If you want me to keep bringing you these stories every day, consider supporting me with a coffee through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the pinned comment. Your support is what makes it possible for me to keep telling these stories. See you in the next video.